What is up, you guys? And it's good to be back. It's been forever. Just everything's been crazy. It's been hectic. It's been a year, that's for sure. But it is great to be back. We are here with a good friend that you guys all should know by now. It is Lily, aka Billy Bob. Thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Guys, I'm so freaking excited. You have no idea. Recently, as in 3 days ago, a new movie came out. It is everyone's favorite fighting princess. It is Mulan. Guys, if you didn't know, Mulan's like my all-time favorite movie ever.
Completely obsessed.
Totally not. 'Cause I don't know what you're talking about. It's my childhood. We grew up with this movie and just, oh, Lily and I, we saw the movie when it came out, and so after we saw the movie, I was like, I gotta do a review. And so this is exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a Mulan movie review quarantine edition, I guess, since we are both on Zoom. And also, I am not like home. I am in Denver currently. So,
Plus social distancing and COVID. So,
yep. Fair warning: there is going to be spoilers. So you have been warned. Real quickly, before we officially get started, I would like to point out because I did take some notes and Lily got me a really cool notebook and of course how funny it is. Mulan and it is so cool and I haven't written in this notebook until now, not gonna lie. But because it's so beautiful, it has like calligraphy pens
oh, I
and
didn't know that.
yeah.
I just saw the notebook. So,
And then it has like you can't really see this, but I'm gonna turn this off. It has like little I don't know. It's so pretty though. So that's why I haven't really written in it. Fair warning, I'm gonna go for a second. Got it. So
ah,
oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, cool. But anyways, so yeah, just wanted to point that out because you know. Anywho, yeah. Oh my gosh, Lily, the first time I saw this movie, I was freaking out, and I just loved it
yeah.
so much. What was your thought?
Okay, also, just I have seen the movie twice now. So, I've had different reactions based on which time I saw it. So, you'll hear kind of both reactions, I guess. I guess like my overall initial impression though was first time seeing this is I really liked it. It's such a beautiful film, and I don't know, it's hard because like you and I both we grew, like you said, we grew up with Mulan and we absolutely love the animated version to the
Mm-hmm.
point like we know all the words and like all the and then also on the flip side, and maybe you not so much, but for me, I also grew up watching or have watched quite a few of like those Asian films, like House of Flying Daggers or Crouching Tiger, and you can definitely see all those elements. So it's very, I think to sum it up, it definitely feels like one of those movies. But if one of those movies were a Disney movie, because it still has kind of like the light-hearted like elements of a Disney movie, you know.
For sure, yeah.
But I did really like it. I thought it was beautiful. I really liked the action and stuff. I do like, and then there was a lot of changes that I'm sure that we'll talk about later that I did like about it. And honestly, I mean, I know it's like was such a big deal. The lack of music in Mushu and Shang, like the lack of stuff, didn't bother me because you just have to kind of accept. I feel like I said, going back to those other movies, is basically like one of those movies, but Disney-fied. You can't think of it
Sure.
as much as a live ad like the live version of the animated version of Mulan, like you can say with like Beauty and the Beast, where it's like so spot on, or Aladdin. It's more like when they did the live action of Jungle Book, where they did quite a few changes, but it's still good and it's still Mulan, or still the Jungle Book. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely the same way. I the first time I saw the trailer and everything, I'm not gonna lie, I tried on that side where I kind of rebelled against it because I wanted I was hoping for a live version Mulan, the same Mulan that we all knew and loved with all the songs and
like
everything.
the more like the Beauty and the Beast live action side
Yeah,
of things.
yeah. But then the more that I looked into it, I started to accept the fact that it's not going to be the same movie. And then you just have to go into this movie not comparing it with anything because
Exactly, yeah.
it's
You
not a movie
really
to compare.
you
Yeah.
can't really compare. That isn't to say though that they do have some fun
Yeah.
cameos or like small references. Though again, we'll probably mention this later. I do feel like there are points where they could have done more references or
But
more, and they kind of missed out on some of that.
absolutely.
But no, but yeah, if you do listen closely, or you do see some fun kind of Easter eggs that reference the original. So
Yep. Yep. So I guess we'll just start from the top and go down following the movie.
mhm, from beginning to end.
Yeah. I guess I do want to point out starting in the beginning because in the Ballad of Mulan, Mulan has a younger brother, and I was trying to find if she had a sister, but I don't remember if she does in the ballad.
I don't know. I do feel like I think it makes more sense for her to have only a sister. I mean, in the animated one, she doesn't have any siblings. I mean, she literally has little brother, but that's a dog. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think it makes more sense because that it kind of explains why her father is forced to go to war. Like, even if she has a little brother, I mean, Mulan's what, like 16, 17 in the animated, but she looks more like 18, 19.
Mhm.
How her brother, would have, you know, a younger brother and close in age and stuff. He'd have to be quite a few years younger. And I think it just made more sense for him to have no sons, and that's why he has to fight. But the father still loves his daughters, even
For
though he
sure.
doesn't have a son.
For sure. Yeah, very true. I just thought that was an interesting nod, I guess. The first scene, I kind of liked seeing Mulan as a little kid, like just to see how
Mm-hmm.
she grew up, and I just kind of liked seeing her which word mischievousness is that if that's the
Oh,
word
mm-hmm.
um
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like in the beginning too, you first hear about Chi too,
mhm,
which ends up being such a big theme throughout the rest of the movie. My one complaint though, and this is probably throughout the movie too. There are scenes that are really pivotal, like really important, like the Chi that are a little more quiet, a little more serious and soft spoken. I had I think part of it was because I was at your house watching it and other things was going on. I
yeah,
had so much trouble hearing what was going on that when I watched it again, seriously, in the first like 10 minutes of rewatching, I'm like, oh my God, so many more things make sense. Like sticking with the beginning, the reason why she needs to hide her chi, you know I did not
yeah,
get the first reason, but in the second go around, oh, that makes sense. It's because if you're a girl and you possess a powerful chi like Mulan does, you get called a witch, which
yeah.
continues to be a theme throughout the rest of the movie. That's really important with like Gong Li's character as the witch. So
Yeah, for sure. I definitely the second time I watched it, I definitely picked up on a lot more. And I do go off of that. I guess this is a con for this movie is I think it would have had been so much better on the big screen, which I think is so unfortunate that they
mm,
have put this
yeah.
onto the big screen. But what can you do?
Yeah, but also, yeah, talk about like some parkour, like at the
Yeah.
beginning with,
Oh
and
my god.
also, and
Yeah.
like you said, her mischievous side, just chasing after that chicken.
Come on, forget the chicken.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Come back.
And then also like her sister and the spider, that seemed a little random, but I
Yeah.
think it's only because you needed to know that her sister was really afraid of spiders for the later part with the
Yeah.
matchmaker. But I honestly don't even think you needed to say that. I'm pretty sure even just the sister's reaction when seeing the spider, you can go, yeah, she's afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
Because it's just so weird, because Milan's just sitting there
Yeah.
like going through her hair, and she goes, now there's a spider near here, but if you sit real still, I'll squash it. And it's like,
Yeah.
why tell her in the first place?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they needed that line, but
If there's this way like crawling onto Casey, I wouldn't say anything. I just smack her.
yeah,
Oh.
exactly. But also, the other thing that's important in the beginning is the phoenix, which is a new
Yes.
thing.
Yes. I
Yeah, what did you
definitely.
think? Yeah, what do you think of the phoenix?
Yeah, for sure. I thought that was an interesting little turn or twist, I guess. Because
Hmm.
we all are expecting Mushu, but Mushu's not in here. So I guess they needed like an alternative. But I'm trying to figure out like with the symbol, like in the Asian culture, what the symbol of
Mm-hmm.
the phoenix is.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
haven't
mean,
done a lot of research
it's
actually.
I'm pretty sure that in like pretty across the board the phoenix is something that still rises up from the ashes. Like
Hmm.
in Asian culture though, which they did get right, the statue doesn't look like a western phoenix like you see with
Right.
all flames and stuff. It kind of looks like a goose.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is I just what I know from Asian culture, and that statue of the phoenix that she like breaks the wing off and everything is, I think yeah, I think it was interesting. I feel like it could have been maybe stronger as a motif or like a symbology. It seemed, I mean, it wasn't weak, I would say, but it could have been stronger, I
Right. For
think.
sure. For
Like
sure.
you kind of get it, and it's always there sort of, but it
For sure.
doesn't, I at least personally I didn't feel like they really like honed it in like.
Right, for sure. And another thing that I guess my mom mentioned when watching this film with us is if she was the only one who saw it, and because in the movie, again you can't
Mm-hmm.
really compare, but I just sometimes you can't help it. But like in the movie, they do know that Mushu is a thing, but so
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. I kind of feel like yeah, it makes sense for not everyone to
hear
see
it.
the
So I guess
phoenix, you know.
yeah,
But one thing though, and I actually my mom pointed this out, which is cool. I know we're getting a little into other characters, but like the witch is a falcon, right, or a
yeah,
hawk, or I don't
yeah.
know which one.
I
Which
think
one is it?
I think it's a falcon because it's
Yeah, but either way, that's interesting because I guess in that case, the phoenix is kind of a strong symbol because you have because like the witch is someone like Mulan that has a really strong chi, but she's been called a witch her whole life.
right.
The witch is actually a really cool character that I liked watching the second time because I could actually hear what she was saying. I couldn't hear what she was saying the first time. But either way, so the witch is like a falcon, and this is someone who it's a bird that like scavengers and like feeds, like feeds and kind of
Right.
destruction. But then there's Mulan in contrast, who's the phoenix, who rises above the ashes, and it's
Oh.
symbols like rebirth and
Yeah, no, no, that's I had to think about that too. I didn't catch on that though,
yeah,
but
I didn't either, but yeah, my mom has seen the movie 4 times, like 3 or 4 times now,
well,
so.
fair enough, fair enough. I did start the movie a third time to like
Mm,
not so long ago just to like see if I was missing anything, but
yeah.
I guess I missed that again.
Yeah, so yeah, the beginning, yeah, with young Mulan, it was pretty cool. I think it was mostly just explaining the chi stuff and then also like being the witch and all of that, and her relationship with her father, of course. What did you think of Mulan's father?
I really liked him actually. He yeah, I don't know.
He's
I
different than like the animation one for sure.
yeah,
I didn't get as much as wise vibes from him,
right, yeah. I just
but he's but still loving, and definitely a father figure. But
yeah, for sure. You did mention that like there's no granny, and I guess that's
oh yeah,
yeah,
I mean there's a sister instead, so
yeah. But I don't know. I think it would have been interesting if there was a granny, but I don't know. Would
I guess
you?
there was just no need for her, I guess. So
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
another
comic
oh
relief.
yeah, the other thing too, thinking just at the beginning too, what did you think of the set? It was so small, like
Oh yeah,
like it's not even a village, it's a giant circle building thing.
yeah. I guess that's what my mom mentioned that was like a kind of a typical
Yeah,
looking village, I guess.
yeah, I mean I guess I'm sure it is historically accurate. I just feel like that one definitely
Very
felt built in like a set.
for sure, for sure.
I think I remember feeling that way too. Also, like in the live action Aladdin, like Agrabah or whatever, it's so small and it just so clustered and kind of. But I think this one maybe was a little more historically accurate. But I just wasn't expecting it to be so small.
Small. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Shakespearean. Like if you've ever been to Europe and Shakespeare or not Shakespeare. Basically it kind of looked like one of the hut in Europe.
I just wasn't expecting it to be a hut. I'd also be interested though to see what, and I guess this would just take more research, what like dynasty in China it's supposed to be
Right,
set in, because
right,
I think that would help, historically and stuff. So,
for sure, for
I mean,
sure.
I know, yeah, there's the imperial city and whatnot, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That was just something that was interesting because I I get why they may have done it small, but it also just felt like you felt like it was literally a set that was built.
right, for
Is
sure.
my only thing.
No, I definitely agree. I think it's because I don't know. Maybe it could be that Milan's home village and quote village is not
Mm-hmm.
the main focus, which is why it's small. Whereas like the camp is big,
Yeah,
and they spend the most time there. So
yeah, like I yeah,
oh,
like I'm sure it has a reason, and it's like just this is me just like nitpick
yeah,
minor things.
for
So
sure, for sure. I love the cinematography though. Like you get to see
mm-hmm.
China, I guess, and the
Yes.
bamboo and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah, that even yeah, that's the other thing with Mulan. Even at the beginning, minus her chasing a chicken, which is a little quirky, but she Mulan is so much more composed and graceful than in the animated version. Like in the animated version, she is running around like
Yeah,
with chickens
all the
following her and like she's like literally knocking over things and riding on her arm and
for sure.
this one and she's much more poised. She's much more graceful. Like even when I guess we can continue with the story. Like with the matchmaker, when she goes like quiet, composed, graceful. This
Yeah,
is what we see in a good wife. This is what we see in Mulan. You really do see that in Mulan.
yeah,
I mean, she does slip up a little bit, but it's not like she's goofy or awkward, like in the animated. Like in the
yeah.
animated one, she can't like Mulan like
Got
like
it.
isn't spitting and like slapping people and
Yeah,
causing big fights and stuff. This
yeah,
Mulan is different. She's much stronger and much more graceful and
yeah, for sure. Like
beautiful.
even like during the matchmaker scene, like when she caught the pots, like she
Oh
was
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And it wasn't even her fault. Like in the matchmaking scene and the other one, like it's the cricket and she like, can I take that back? And she like yanks it out of the woman's hand and like this one was an accident and all she's doing is just trying to save her sister from freaking out with the
fire, yeah,
spider.
yeah,
In this one the matchmaker was not very nice. Like you really dislike that the matchmaker. Like the other one I think you can go, yeah, you can kind of see why the matchmaker kind of freaked out a little bit.
yeah.
This one the matchmaker just seems old and crabby.
Very strict, yeah.
So the music during that scene.
Oh my gosh, yes, when she's getting ready to meet the matchmaker, there it was the honest to us all
Mm-hmm.
song. And I love how subtle the music is and like how they put it in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This was a really nice touch, I think. And just moving right after that scene, when um, who's the guy who's calling out the name? Is it still?
It's I it's either is it the chancellor? I think it's the chancellor.
Yeah, okay, the chancellor because we don't
Like
really see.
chief like chifu. It's like the chifu but
Yeah,
not goofy and whiny and kind of pathetic.
yeah, for sure.
No
Yeah.
offense to the animated chifu, but
I mean, his name
I bel
literally translates to boy, so
oh yeah, no, but I think there's other really important stuff though. Even before that, that leads up to him coming to the village is the stuff with Boy Khan and the witch.
oh yes,
Like it's the first time you see these new villains, and the second time watching this, I didn't realize it, but I didn't realize that the witch actually can take over people,
yeah,
and that's what she's doing in the beginning. And the whole idea is that it's all along the Silk Road, and it's all a lot more there's more backstory and like more context to why Bori Khan is like trying to attack the Emperor because turns out the Emperor killed Bori Khan's father, who was
yeah,
Bori Khan as well.
right for sure. I guess I do like kind of like that reason. I guess I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
then you also see just the witch and more of the stuff that she can do. So
Yeah, I really like the witch. Like if you watch carefully, her expression makes so much more sense.
oh yeah, and yeah, the other thing too, and I don't know if this is before or after they like go to the village, but there's that scene too that's the quiet moments, but but every now and then there's these few lines that just make everything make click and make sense. But like how Boycon is just all like, oh yeah, because she's a woman. The witch is a woman who has chi, and but she is very powerful. And she's like, no, I'm not a witch. I'm a woman. I'm a
Yeah,
warrior. I could tear you to shreds if I wanted. And Boycon's, oh no, you wouldn't do that. When I met you, you were nothing but a dog. But when I'm in power, that dog will have a home.
right, right, yeah. I really like her as a character, I guess.
Yeah, it was real. Yeah,
So
she's
cool.
a very interesting character, and I think the more you watch it, the more you get from her. So.
For sure, yeah. Like from the moment, like the very time you see her, her expression is like, I really don't want to do this to you, but try not to fight me, so I don't have to do anything stupid to you, kind of thing. Like, if you
Yeah,
look
did you?
at it,
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that, but I'll take your word for it. But
yeah. So, but I don't know. That's
I kind of feel like it was more like I just got, yeah, and I guess that's kind of what you're saying. It's like, just gotta do what I gotta do. Let's just
yeah,
get this over with, you know?
yeah. I guess that's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can definitely see that.
I really like her.
She's awesome.
She's really cool. And what you pointed out, like with the like the drape ribbon and the fine
Her sleeves.
sleeves, yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, going back to the matchmaker or the scene after the match. Oh, I guess that's
Well, going
mostly
back to the village after the emperor now has like done conscription. Sorry, last thing on the witch too. Even then, because turns out she has taken over the soldier and he's the last soldier, and I didn't catch that the first time. It's so subtle that he's the last soldier and it's the soldier that she took over. And then she goes, him as the, like her as the soldier goes, oh yeah, your majesty, if I may talk, Boricon fights around a witch, and she's all like, and she says, oh yeah, she leads, she helps lead them, and she kind of says, oh yeah, I'm the leader, I am like, she's basically saying, I am the leader, I am the crucial part of this that's making everything work. While Boricon later goes, oh yeah, you serve, in Alshire, we'll get to that point later, but he's like, no, you serve us, blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
like, you're below us, you're just a witch. But, like, at that moment, you can tell, like, she's all like, no, I'm in charge. She kind of hints at, no, I believe I'm in charge, or I'm the one that the real power and brains behind this operation.
Ooh, I didn't catch that before. Ooh, that's cool. Very. I love the subtle hints and like to make it really good.
It is subtle, though, and that's why, like, watching it a second time
For sure.
helps, or a third time, or a fourth time, or,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, sorry, I keep diverting off. But
Well,
when the chancellor comes back to the village.
yes, when the chancellor comes to the village and calls each member or each name of each family, I did notice from the first time I watched it that I'm pretty sure when he listed off all the names, they were in the order of as the original movie, how they listed off the names, and like they were the same names. I don't take my word for it because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they listed off the same names in the same order and everything, and I thought that was kind of cool. Again, it's just small references that
That
make it.
was cool. I didn't notice that, but the audio so well because
Yeah.
listening to it so much and with subtitles. The other thing too, during this whole scene, from getting conscripted, getting called out to saying goodbye and talking to her father. A couple of things. Yeah, one thing I did notice was how she doesn't like burst in like, no, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was an interesting point. And then the other thing that I really noticed in this scene is when I think it's this in the other one, but I feel like they really more emphasize that if he goes to far Hua Zhou, whatever he goes to war, he is going to die. Like
Right.
he seems much more like
Fragile.
I think you kind of knew that in the other. It was implied that, but this one you really know. It's like, oh shoot, like he really is in no,
Yeah.
he cannot fight, and you kind of just remember, yeah, he will die, and it's like even mother says we have to be strong because this time he won't come back or he won't return.
Right. Right. Yeah. I guess it gives you like a more solid reason to why Mulan's so desperate too. I guess I don't know if that was what you're going for, but that's.
I guess if you continue forward, yes, that does strengthen why she goes. I don't know.
No, I think that's like really cool to point out too.
Also, just like the whole scene with her taking her father's armor
Oh,
and
that's yes.
the sword and all of that was a really cool scene. But I do have to say they missed out on the opportunity to use the original music, which is like, dun,
Yeah.
dun. They didn't do that, and I'm like, I mean, they still played dramatic music, and I'm like, oh, you missed out.
Yes, for sure. The soundtrack for that scene is called Short Hair, in case you didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
though she doesn't actually cut her hair though, so I
No,
guess.
yeah.
But
Oh,
for
man.
good reason, storyline wise.
And I think that would be a little tricky because you can cut your hair with a sword, but it's not gonna be clean.
No, he will not. I mean, she still looks like a guy well
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. They I guess they could someone who could pull off a guy, which I think is the whole
Mhm.
purpose of that.
Yeah.
Um,
And then there's as then she's leaving, then there's the stuff, when they realize that, and then that's the other time you see the Phoenix too. Like the Phoenix does keep coming up, like the Phoenix, is on the crest with the stone sword with the sword. Well, that's the other thing too, is the sword is such an important part too.
oh yes,
And when she's talking to her father, it's the first time we see like the sword, this beautiful sword, and it says like loyal, honest, and loyal, brave, and true.
brave, true, yeah,
And then you see the phoenix is like in this emblem that's there to protect. And then she gets lost apparently trying to find camp,
yeah.
but then but I think they just use that as a way for the phoenix to come up and to
Mm.
know that, hey, there's the phoenix and this is what's going on. So we remember when we saw the phoenix, we were watching it, I'm like, I live.
And then here's say,
Because it's so beautiful, it's not scary, but
ooh.
like, yeah, it's more like, let me see you say ooh, like so yeah, I think that's the first time you actually see the phoenix, like the actual
Yeah.
one.
I'm kind of ashamed of myself that I didn't catch this the first time, but Cricket, I didn't. How did I miss?
How did you not like?
I
How
don't.
did you miss cricket?
I guess I, I don't know.
He's like, I was born under an auspicious sign, so that's why my name is Cricket. I was born under an auspicious sign, so that's why my mom says I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky Cricket.
I guess my mind I heard because there was a lot of background noise in the
Yeah,
first
that's very true. Yeah, and plus he's a human, not an actual cricket.
Yeah.
So.
But honestly, I think I like Cricket better as a person. Like they really
Yeah,
did a good job to making him so lovable too.
Though, what did you think of the scene where and it's cricket that actually causes like someone to get bumped over because someone like does something to his ear and he like
Yeah, he smacked someone.
yeah, he like freaks out and someone goes, hey, what the heck, and then all of a sudden like this mystery guy, or that's kind of this handsome mystery guy,
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a minute, like bumps into Mulan or whatever, and then she just draws her sword.
Yeah.
I think that was a bit touch aggressive.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's just like, you do that again, you'll take my blade or whatever. And it's just
Yeah,
like, whoa there, calm down, like.
yeah. She's definitely quite headstrong in this movie, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it doesn't make sense for her to be that clumsy to cause such a big fight, like with, and like
The
people
whole
bumping
camp, I
into
guess,
her.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I said too, with Mushu not there to give her bad advice,
Yeah.
but still, like, just how she just like pulls out and like, her sword
Right.
and everything. It's like
Counterproductive for her to stay under the radar,
very true. Yeah, very true. Yeah, and that's the other thing too that like I said with this mystery guy. That is my other complaint is you don't know, like throughout this, you don't know who any of like the soldiers are. Like I watched this too. They keep panning back to the same soldiers, which you assume is, and they kind of say it in passing. They're like, "Oh yeah, what do you think?" Or like, "Hey, Ling has this, blah blah blah. Give it back to me," like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it's not like in the like a clear of like I'm Chinpo, or I'm Ling, or my name's Yao, or like the mystery guy that isn't even in the animated version.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't even know, like you actually don't find out his
Halfway
name until like 3/4 of the way through the movie, and it's just more like when Mulan just shouts "Hong Hui" or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something they could have made well, I don't know. Definitely for sure, they could have cleared up who was who.
Mm-hmm.
You could assume, but it's still confusing kind of thing.
Like all it would have taken was just a couple seconds of "Hi, my name is so and,"
Yeah, for sure. Something that I kind of am questioning is the name Mulan picked as her man name.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hua Jun, I think.
Yeah,
That's
Juan.
Hua Jun.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, because I know in the ballad they that was not her name. That
Oh.
her man name. Why did I keep saying man? Like her.
Man,
uh,
the
or
guy
her
name.
nickname. There we go. Her nickname. And obviously Mulan, she picked King. So I tried doing some research on like what reference Juan or Juan June was,
I
but
mean, obviously Hua is just her family name, you know.
right, yeah.
But yeah, June. I don't know. Yeah, it seems just random in that she was able. I mean, I do think it is good. You can tell that she had more forethought, unlike animated, where she just walks in. She's like, "Oh shit, that's right. I need a guy name, and I need to be a
Yeah,
guy." And oops, like she at least she's thought of a name before starting, you know.
yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just thought that was
And then also, yeah, then this is also, you see the new Commander
mm,
Tong. I think it's Tong. Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I could
Commander
go
Tong.
for it.
Because we don't have Shane, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But I liked him, and I actually recognized a lot of these actors from these Asian movies, like The Witch's Gong Li, who's famous for, like, Members of a Geisha, and one of my favorites, like, Crystal Flower. I think, is it Donnie Yen? No, Donnie Yen's there. Donnie Yen, yeah, Donnie Yen is in the movie Hero that I really like too, and he's a really good swordsman. So that's who plays the commander. So I kind of like that they separated it because it is kind of
Mhm.
unrealistic to have such a young commander. And then also then Mulan isn't like hitting on the you know
Right, right.
captain the whole time. So
Yeah, I really liked him too. I kind of got like a glimpse of the behind the scenes for the martial arts, and
mm-hmm.
all the martial arts that especially that he does is like real time. Like he's actually doing
Yes,
all that
mm-hmm.
stuff.
They're all
Like this is
almost all of like all the main characters like in the big names that you may recognize, they all do their own martial arts, and
yeah,
they've done martial arts movies in the past, so
yep,
that's
yep.
kind of cool.
Yeah, and so cool.
And then yeah, you kind of just see them going through camp and stuff. um so it's interesting though, because even such the big thing is like Mr. I'll make a man out of you. I don't know how they did it, but you kind of don't miss it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much stuff going on, but it just keeps kind of going that you kind of. And plus, also it being live action, it'd be so weird to see all those guys just breaking out in song.
Yeah, that's yeah, the business guys. Yeah,
It would be a little weird.
yeah, just a little. All right, guys, let's pause and do a
Yeah,
song.
just imagine like imagine Commander Tong just going, "Let's get down to business."
And
Plus,
then,
also they're not even defeating the Huns. It's
yeah.
like I still don't. It wasn't clear, but what the Outlanders, right, or like Northern people.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think they are technically Mongols, but they're like a small,
Yeah,
like tribal Mongol thing. I don't know. Like they have a name, but it's hard to understand what their name is.
yeah, yeah. I didn't really quite pick that up either. I think I'm still questioning it too because they don't really say it's oh, it's the Huns or
They do say what the group is. It's just it starts with an R. Like they say
yeah.
it at the beginning. I know they do, but like yeah.
For going back to like the meeting the guys like when Mulan is entering the tent and you see Poe drop his
I
stuff in
think
the
it was Yao
or,
actually.
or
I
yeah,
wish
that's
I
right.
hope it was Yao because
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
nod to the original. So
yeah. But I this maybe just me reading too much into the line, but when you hear a lot of guys laughing, it kind of sounds like the donkey laugh. So,
oh my god. Well,
so,
that is like again, you hear names that are familiar, like Ling and Yao and stuff like that, but no one knows who's who. They do have some like comedic scenes though, like, come on, we're gonna take the showers, and Mulan just goes, showers?
yeah.
Yeah, and then she just ends up being outside so she doesn't have to undress. Or like, yeah, when they go to sleep, like I think
Oh, I
it's
love that.
Yao or someone like starts like
Okay,
spooning the other one, and then turns around and then like starts holding hands with Cricket.
yeah, yeah, I love that so much. That's amazing. I think I kind of like how they were able to work with Mulan being in the camp instead of out of the camp, because in the
hmm
original she's away from the other
Oh
guy.
yeah, I forgot about that because yeah, she has her own tent.
Yeah, yeah. I like how they're able to work with that.
Yeah, the other thing too is then there's all like the training stuff. Like they don't have the big like pole with the big
Yeah.
heavy metals, but they have probably an even more challenging task of like taking water buckets on top. And you don't realize this until Mulan or actually finally gets to the top, which is several scenes later. It's like a freaking mountain.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, it's huge.
But it's Cricket crying on the stairs.
Oh, I love that so much. Are you
Yeah, because
crying?
everyone just has these buckets and people are like sloshing their water buckets around. People are just like tripping over themselves, passing out, and then all of a sudden Cricket's just on the step just crying. Yeah, and one of the commanders just goes, is he? Or like, oh, also they do have stuff with like shooting and stuff. Cricket closes his eyes and makes the target.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh! I forgot about that. Yeah, I love Cricket so much. He so
He's a good
lovable.
addition. He's
Yeah,
a subtle comic relief, which is nice.
for sure, for sure.
That is fitting with the everything else. So
You and then you get like the reference of Sampo being like, I don't care what when they're talking about like the girls. He's like, I don't care what they look like. I care what they cook like.
though it's interesting though because back to like the mystery guy who's
Yeah,
just cute. At first he just kind of wants to be friends with Mulan, but as it I know it's interesting. He's kind of almost it's so hard because he's kind extra friendly,
yeah, yeah,
and then later when he knows he's a female, like he's definitely into her.
yeah, for
And
sure.
maybe into him like into her as a guy too, like. But they
Right?
say that too with Shang too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's like those scenes too, when they're talking and stuff. And then the big moment is like with the chi. That's another, with the
Oh
big when
yeah,
they're fighting the scenes, and all of a sudden, like they're like bam, bam with the sticks. Then all of a sudden Mulan just goes like full blown like
yep, yep.
that was a cool scene.
That was a really cool scene. I really like that. Just like the
Hmm.
fighting, that was so cool.
Yeah, and then knowing about the chi though, because later I remember the first time she just goes and goes, "Gotta hide your chi," like that was so
Yeah,
stupid. It's because she was taught for all her life, they were to hide the chi because she's a woman. So that was cool. Or the other thing too is like one thing that's true you can see throughout the movie, her being a woman, kind of in hiding that secret actually bears a lot of weight on Mulan. She kind of
yeah.
feels guilty because there was that scene too. It's like dishonesty, the
Oh
punishment,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
death,
yeah,
something else, punishment, death,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, bringing women into camp or any type of, like interactions with women,
So,
death. And like it just shoots to Mulan and she's just all like,
oh boy.
she's like, yeah, exactly. But I do kind of wish, because they said I guess no, dishonesty is like the one,
Yeah,
it sounds like expulsion. But that was the one thing that bothered me is they could have kept saying dishonor.
yeah.
They kept saying disgrace on you, disgrace on this regiment, disgrace on your country, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I'm like, why didn't they use dishonor?
Honor, yeah. That they definitely missed out on that. And I don't know if
Hmm.
that was like they did that on purpose or not.
Yeah, I don't know, but they do say dishonor though, like at the matchmaking scene. So I wish they had stuck with they used disgrace. It seems like for the rest of the movie, but I feel like they should have used dishonor.
For sure, yeah, that definitely made it a lot better. They did
Hmm.
do another reference for with "Make a Man Out of You" because when he is talking to the group,
Mm-hmm.
he's like he's stripped as
Truthful as a forest and on fire within.
yep, yeah. So that was a really cool
Mm-hmm.
reference.
And the relationship like with the commander too is like, oh yeah, you've been hiding, like why are you holding back, and she's like,
Yeah,
I don't know. But like even worse though, like later as they are caught off to war, she's like, because they do like the whole like vow, they're like loyal, you know,
yeah.
brave, true, and then Mulan just goes, she can't actually do true. She's
Yeah,
just like, oh god, I've been such a liar this whole time. And
yeah,
then she like goes in and tries. She's like this close to confessing, or
yeah.
and he's like, oh no, you're a good man. This is normal. I admire you. He's like, oh, and let me bring you back to my daughter so you can get married.
Yeah, yeah, and then
Which is
she's
like
like,
the biggest like honor like gift that he can do. And she's like, oh shit, like.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what I would have done, but she definitely she's like, I have to be honored to do that. I'm like, oh man.
Well, what else is she supposed to say?
Yeah,
It's like such a
exactly.
big privilege,
Yeah.
and such a big deal. And she's just all like, this is not the time to say, oh no, by the way, I'm a woman, so.
Moving on to I guess to the battle.
Oh, before the battle, just
Yeah.
because you see Boy Khan and the witch again.
Yes.
And I think that's another really, it's such a small blip and it happens fast, but it makes because it turns out that like the reason why they're going on the mountain is they're trying to get all of the the emperor's troops away from the imperial city, so that there won't be any troops at
Yeah,
the palace anymore, which is kind of is a big thing. And the other thing too, then you do see again, they're like, oh, there's that witch, why do you use that? And Boycon's like, oh no, she's fine, she serves us. And then later, she steps out and she goes, so I see that I serve you. And he's like, yeah, and you'll be good to remember that. It's just like, oof, ouch. I feel,
yeah,
you feel bad for her too. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah. What do you think of Boricon, by the way? Do you like Major Villain or?
it's the witch that's cooler. He's
Yeah,
Boycon just is.
he's an
I
I
mean,
know he's an idol, I guess. Sidekick. I don't know.
he is the main villain. But or
I
he
feel,
thinks he's the main villain at least, or the big, But I don't know. He's okay. He's not really the showstopper. He's pretty similar to Shan Yu, I'd say.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, the battle.
Now, oh my gosh, especially when Mulan comes to like reveal herself.
There's a
Not
lot that
reveal
happens.
herself. There's a
Yeah,
lot
there's
that
a lot that happens before then, but yeah, that is the highlight. Like, oh
happens.
my gosh.
And the music and everything is just so good. I
The
got I got
martial, yeah,
I gotta
sorry.
say myself. Sorry, let's go back real quickly. Let's
No,
just
you're
start
good. I was just gonna
with
say,
the
like, the
battle.
martial arts is so cool in this.
Yeah.
All the swords and all the like the arrows and just and also the scene when all the arrows fly. Everything that happens in the
Mhm.
animated, but seeing
Oh,
it in
it's the
live
other way
action.
around.
Oh,
So the
okay.
enemy the arrows instead of them.
Either way, though, it's pretty epic
Oh
to see
yeah.
it in the
Oh
live
yeah.
action.
Just everything about that was like really well put together, I feel
And
like.
you just see how good of a swordsman Mulan is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. And yeah, she definitely thinks like she's very clever because going to like the avalanche scene, she uses like she grabs the soldiers' helmets and then she'll
Hmm.
use that as like distractions and everything.
Yeah, she's always a bit. And I think you think of like in the animated, she's more brains than bronze. This one, she's like badass though. She
Yeah.
can fight. She can really fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So good. The first time I watched the scene where Mulan is facing the wit or what's her name? What's the falcon's name? Like what's her actual name?
I know. I feel bad. I keep saying witch, but I don't think you actually know what it. I know she has a name, and I think it's like Xia Hun or something. Or
Okay.
Xia, but they never actually say it. They're very bad at just naming people
Right.
or saying
Apparently.
people's names. But the witch is fine.
Yeah, I
She's
think
not actually a witch, but warrior witch person who's badass.
yeah, you're the badass. But like her encounter with Milan's encounter with her makes a lot more sense the second time I watched it.
Oh my gosh, so much, yeah.
Yeah. And it just makes me want to like root for her obviously more because she's like
They'll
yeah,
never accept you.
yeah,
I've never been accepted myself, and
yeah. And then another thing, I got so excited for some odd reason when I found out that Mulan, like when the what you call it,
like a ninja star.
yeah, Ninja Star like hit Mulan's bracers, and I don't know why I got excited with that, but like because
That was just cool.
I
Well,
totally
it's
forgot.
probably because it's like her actually being a woman saved her.
Yeah, yeah,
Because yeah, they talk about the chi again. It's like, oh yeah, well your lie poisons your chi. And I think yeah, and her father narrating this too is like, oh yeah, well like Hua Jun dies, but Mulan lives, which I
yeah.
guess is the phoenix, the phoenix rising.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh my god, just that whole scene, I got like
And that
chills.
is I really love the decision of, like you said, it's such a cool decision. It's like brings you chills of her coming out with her long hair and the woman, because that doesn't happen before. They just go like she just accidentally just even like sits up and they're like, oh, a woman,
Yeah.
like this one she just goes out. They can't see because
For sure.
action's happening and things like stuff. But and then she does say Hong Hui, and that's the first time you hear her name. She's just like Hong Hui, like that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, because
my
after she
goodness,
she does
dude.
the avalanche, which was really clever.
Yeah.
there was that whole avalanche, and like in the movie, running through, she pulls him out. So she does just kind of leave him there, and like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was it. She's just like, okay, you're safe. Drops off. Keep
Okay.
going off. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting thing because he does come back eventually, like
But
so.
for like the big, I think it was for cinematic
I
effects,
guess
for like
so,
the big
yeah.
reveal as she's like coming through
So,
the snow and stuff, and they're just kind of like, wait, who is that? And it's like, oh, then Cricket, he's a girl.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a girl.
But and I like I don't know the end quote version saying was definitely a lot more accepting. Like I feel like he kind of knew from the I don't know.
I don't know. He definitely, like I said, he always seems more. He's always just seems interested in Mulan, whether she's Hua Jun or Mulan or whoever. He always seems interested and much more accepting. He stands up for her and like is really rooting for her.
For sure. Although he did mention like when she was bathing, uh, back up for your brothers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she does though. She's like, yeah, because there's that scene before they're about to fight, before they go off to battle, and she's all like, we're gonna live because I got your back and you've got mine.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then the big reveal. The Commander Tong, when he goes, oh yeah, you've been. I think that is why they had to keep honing in so much on the dishonesty and like with the sword too, because again, even then she like rushes to the sword and stuff like that. It's like, oh you've been dishonest and now you bring disgrace, on this, regiment or battalion or whatever it is.
Mhm.
It's interesting because it's not like in the other one where you can balance off, oh, you saved my life, so I'll save yours. I think it is interesting that he just doesn't kill her right on point.
For sure.
I mean, for the movie, obviously, you can't just have him kill her, but
Right, right. And I guess that's interesting because he's like, I'd rather die, but then I guess he
it's
did.
worse. It's probably worse though, too, because remember, not only has she been dishonest, she's also a woman with chi, which means she's like a witch. It's probably worse. Better to die than to go home with that much
Yeah,
disgrace and like dishonor and dishonesty back to your
for sure.
family to show your face. I think that can be kind of part of it. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably worse punishment than death.
I'm trying to remember like what happens after.
You just see her crying. You kind of just see her
Oh,
crying,
and then she encounters the
and
fact
then
the witch.
yeah, and then they have. That's she doesn't see them, but the witch goes, oh yeah, see, they'll never accept you, like, see, I was right. And then she's like, oh yeah, and by the way, that this was all a distraction, which I still don't exactly see how they piece all that together with that being a distraction, like that war for them to go to the Imperial City.
Right.
I mean, I know, like, you just go with it, but it doesn't. I don't think she flat out says it's a distraction. I think Mulan just figures that out.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that too. I did think it was interesting, how like, because if she was a truly bad guy, she wouldn't have said anything. But like, I feel like she wanted her to know. But to answer your question, I didn't figure that out.
It's just inferred, I guess, just because the whole idea again of,
I,
oh, there's no troops there because we're distracting them off of the Silk Road, and now no one will be there. So
I didn't get that
the
until
second
like the
time,
episode. No, I
yeah,
didn't get it the second time.
yeah, no, like, yeah, that's why, like, those discussions beforehand with Boycon and the Witch, even though they're short, and that it explains all of that. It just is quiet, and I wish it was louder and a little more pronounced. But
Yeah, for sure. It definitely was not.
yeah, and then I guess Mulan's like, no, we can't do that, and then she rushes off to find the rest of her battalion or whatever, and that reveals what the plan is, and I guess convinces everyone, no, let's just go a small group of us.
Oh, did they? Is that? Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
What?
Because like I guess I figured more people came to the battle than just the third little guy.
Well, like, you have the big battle, and then they all start heading towards the Emperor to go, hey, they ran away, we saved it, and Mulan goes, no, we can't. But remember, she says, the Imperial Army cannot stop Boycon, cannot stop them now. She's like, but perhaps a small special, like, specially trained
Oh, right.
troops can. which of course includes her, the commander, and 5 soldiers or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. That makes a lot more sense, I guess.
yeah, and then they also say, which I guess kind of throwing his own words back at him, is like when like an ounce can, I don't know what it is. It wasn't as memorable as like a single grain of rice can tip the scale. It's the equivalent. It's like when applied correctly, an ounce can move. Can
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She kind
Yeah.
of throws it back at him because he said something that earlier, and she's like,
Okay. Cool. Cool. I
yeah.
did not catch that.
Yeah, and then back at the palace, the witch actually, yeah, turns into the chancellor, and then yeah, tricks the emperor to suiting up, and like emperor's like, I'll just kill this guy, like we'll go hand to hand, and then she also, as the chancellor, tricks all the soldiers and everyone leaving the palace.
What
So
happened
then
to Chancellor afterwards? Like he never
I don't
showed.
know. That is one thing they never explained is what happens to these people when she
Yeah.
enters and then leaves their body. Like,
Yeah.
are they dead, or are they just like hypnotized, or like taken over?
I mean, I feel like if they still have like knowledge of what's happening, I feel like she would want to kill
Probably
them.
just a trance. Then probably just kind of like wake,
Yeah.
yeah, like unconscious or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't actually explain that.
So it's like irrelevant for the movie purpose, but
Yeah.
somehow you question.
Yeah, so there's all that going on, and then they show up, and it's like, oh, they do have to fight some guards. It's not like all the guards are gone, and some more epic martial arts,
Yeah. Yep.
and then Mulan's like, Emperor, I'm Hua Mulan, from the blah blah blah. I'm here to save you. No one's there. But then Gong Li's character, like the witch, she's all like, at that point she has seen them backing her up, and getting along.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that really big cool moment when she's like, they accepted you, but they'll never accept me. It's too late for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other thing that happened back when Mulan's crying is the witch goes, yeah, they'll never accept you. Trust me, I wanted to choose the noble path, but I
Oh,
can't.
yeah. Yeah.
And now during this conversation again, she's like, I see you've chosen, a more noble path, and they've accepted you. She's like, but it's too late for me, But then Mulan's like, no, I need you. But like, no, please join me. And also the other thing is it goes, I need you,
Yes.
And no one's actually has said that to her, to the witch, I don't think. Like, I actually
feel
need
like
you.
It's more like I in quote need you, but I'm used to using you.
Yeah, that's what she's used to. But like Mulan is like, no, you're more powerful than me. I actually need your help because you're better than me. And it acknowledges that. So
yeah,
which becomes later, as obviously what happens next, a big turning point for the witch. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because then the witch turns into the hawk and then leads her to where the emperor is.
Yep. And then her death and.
Oh yeah, I know. Like right then, she's all like, she saves Mulan and the emperor. So.
Yeah, and when Gorkon's like, you led that girl or something over, and she's like, no, she's a woman,
A warrior, yeah.
A warrior, yeah.
Maybe both, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think she says something to the witch, right? Too, like there she goes, like she's no dog or whatever,
Right.
Is what it is again, which is just kind of a cool like nod to the things he said before, like oh you're. But then and then she flies in front of the arrow.
I know.
Yeah, she didn't do it. Yeah, she definitely didn't do it to save the emperor. She just did it more to go. She's like for Mulan to kill Boy Khan.
Yep. For her to be, it's not true, but like for her to like grow,
Yeah, and of course now, and then Mulan gets to the emperor and is like that big showdown. Of course, I mean, I can definitely see why they wouldn't do that because it was just ridiculous. Why they didn't have the other soldiers in drag? That'd be so weird. That would have been so weird.
That would be really weird, actually.
And also, isn't it? It's I think in the thing too because it's just cool with the cinematography, martial arts. It's a bunch of scaffolding. Like I don't, they wouldn't have been able to find, go in the palace, find all like this makeup and like dresses that are big enough to fit the guys and like.
Yeah. Did you see something like that? I forgot about that.
But that's the thing. That's the cool thing, though, is you actually forget throughout the movie. You just forget things from the other movie because it's a standalone. It's
not a Disney.
Yeah, but what did you think of like the big showdown?
I think it could have been more or better. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't like it didn't stand out to me,
Yeah, I think there's the whole thing with the sword, and then the sword, gets destroyed. And then, like, for the second half of the fight, she doesn't even have her sword, which is pretty impressive. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think, yeah, I kind of see what you mean. It isn't as, epic as you think. The fact that she doesn't even really, like, she just doesn't really kill him. I mean, like, she does, but, like, she just,
Yeah.
like, cuts a rope, he falls, and then he doesn't even die from the fall.
No, she died from the arrow.
Boycon tries to kill the Emperor again, shoots an arrow. The Emperor catches it, which is cool. The fact you can catch an arrow, like, right before it.
Right?
And then the Emperor, like, throws the arrow back, and Mulan, like, power kicks it back at him.
The arrow. Oh, so in the beginning of the film, the first time we see Boycon in this thing, a soldier shoots an arrow at him, and you see him catch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that was really. I didn't pick up on that the first time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do remember that, because it's like he tries catching it again, and he thinks, oh yeah, I can catch this, and it's like, nope,
Nope.
and then dead. So.
And I think I don't know if this is just me again reading too much into it, but maybe that might have been like a notion of the difference between a normal person doing it and a person with chi doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing that too I remember is the Emperor. He calls Mulan. He's like, continue, like, keep fighting, warrior. Like, she, like, drops her sword, and she's like, ah, and then she just kind of stands there, and he goes, keep going, but he calls her a warrior or a soldier.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't call her a witch, which, people seeing this, seeing her with chi, so many people, which is, I think, is her biggest fear, is that she's going to be called a witch,
Right.
and going to be rejected from society. And then to have someone as, like, the Emperor, call.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah, I guess it didn't even come to me with that. Yeah.
And then, like, she saves the Emperor and all of that. And the back of the palace, the costumes are so beautiful, and the makeup, just throughout the whole film, the costumes and makeup are beautiful. But in the Imperial City in particular, and in the palace itself, beautiful. And then Ming Na Wen.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was a little out of place, but because it was Ming, for those of you who don't know, Ming Na Wen is the actress that voices the original Mulan. So big cameo, obviously. They had to do it. It was funny too, because right before she did that too. I just got done thinking, oh darn, we never see Ming Na Wen as a cameo, and then there she is, and I'm like, oh,
oh man, she looks like her, but man. But yeah, oh my gosh, that was a cool cameo. Again, I'm a little ashamed I didn't pick on that the first time, because Lily was like, yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, it is.
Well, part of it too is you don't see her either. I mean, it's just her voice. I do know there's other movies that Ming Na Wen has been in. Like, another one of my favorites is like Joy Luck Club, so I recognize her. So
yeah. But
that was cool. And then what did you think of, like, the whole, like, the Emperor offering Mulan a, not just a job, like, in the live action of, like, oh, having, the Chancellor, but actually being a soldier in, like, this really, prestigious, army, and Mulan just completely just going, nope.
I mean, I stayed true to the movie in a way, but him offering a role in the movie.
It was pretty awesome, but I almost felt like it was more rude. Like, maybe not rude, but just more jaw-dropping. Because, like, I think in the animated, she's like, with all due respect, like, I've been away from home for too much. This one, she's like, I'm very honored, but I ran away from home, I've been disgraced, so now I need to go back,
Yeah.
It was a little more assertive, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it didn't.
And I think it was much more like, oh man, she's rejecting the Emperor, It was, or like, whoa, that's kind of big. Because in the other one, she's like, oh, well, I just want to go home, thank you, and then gives him a hug and leaves,
Sure.
This one was just kind of like, whoa, she just gave that up. Like, that is big.
Yeah, and you can see like everyone else in the room.
Yeah. Like, did she just do that? Like, what?
There you see saying, you're like, alright, girl, kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and then as she's leaving, like, Hong Hui or whatever, she's like, I'm leaving. He goes, no, you can't leave, And he's like, come on, take my hand. And she, like, barely, I like how she just kind of goes, it's like, touch. And then, like,
Yeah.
he was definitely more like, I know that he was supposed to be her love interest. I feel like he was the one doing the being interested though. She wasn't. I think she cares for him, but she's definitely not like interested.
For sure, for sure. Like as in the animation, you definitely see her checking him out, kind of thing.
Like even Mushu calls her out on it. Like,
Yeah.
you like him, you know? Yeah, Hongwei definitely has like a major crush on Mulan.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just never thought of this. So going back to like the middle of the film, when everyone's talking about the girl like having a girl,
Yeah.
Ling mentions that he was matched with a girl named Lili.
Yep.
Lily.
Lili.
Lily.
It'd be like Lily, but and pretty much, fun fact, just because it's my name and it's spelled Lili. Pretty much if you spell it Lili, in every culture but Western culture, pretty much it's gonna be pronounced Lili.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I took Spanish, so, and
Oh,
it was Lili, and I took like other languages, so it's gonna, yeah, Lili, and then of course and then in Chinese it would be Lili, which does not refer to a flower, it's just a name apparently. So
fair enough. Oh, good. You learn something new every day.
yeah.
But I feel like they could have made another reference there. Like I'm
What, Ting Ting?
Yeah, you know.
But Ting Ting's is a princess,
Yeah,
so.
Princess of the Emperor, which we don't really get to meet.
But they do have other, yeah, no, like, I mean, there was the Chimpo one, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I like this Link. I mean, I like Jimmy Wong, who's the guy that acts in it. He's a YouTuber, if you don't know, but he's pretty cool. He's not as goofy as like, I'm Ling.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was better, but I still feel like Yao, I think they nailed pretty well. Like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Chimpo, Chimpo could have been better. I feel like you don't even know it's Chimpo. You actually feel right. Cricket is almost more like Chimpo than Chimpo was.
Yeah, they definitely. I feel like they could.
The other soldiers were just a little weak, I think, in some ways.
Yeah,
Like the fact you don't even know who they are for like the whole film.
yeah, yeah. Because the whole time Lily and I were like trying to figure out who each of them were, and they're like, "Wait, no, this is."
There's Cricket, and I just calling cute mystery guy who's
Yeah.
yeah. And then I knew Ling just because I knew the actor. So yeah, I guess they just weren't the focus of the film. So
Yeah, and again, you can't compare it, so you can't be like this again, this and this, but
you can at the same time.
yeah, you can at the same time.
Okay, kind of switching topics, but it just reminded me of this. Right after the battle too, Cricket, like he looks Haley, it was so cute. You would like this the whole, like, I kid you not, you were just like, ah.
Oh my god.
Oh yes, you were like that probably since they started the battle until the end of the movie. So that's like a good half hour, and you're just like, ah, just the whole time. And then Cricket, you see that he looks like he's dead or injured, and then he just gets up because he's lucky. He's the lucky Cricket.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the whole time I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was.
Maybe I'm biased, but this movie we've been waiting for this for a long time now.
Oh my gosh, like 2 years
Mm-hmm.
since they announced it, like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And then a lot of delays, like the fact they couldn't find an actress to play Mulan, which I can understand though, just because that was a tall order. They wanted someone who was Chinese. I think they wanted someone who could sing. Crystal or Liu Yifei or whatever her name is. She can sing. She actually, there's a clip of her singing Reflection in Mandarin. So they wanted someone who could speak Chinese, speak English fluently, was Chinese, not just Asian, actually Chinese, could do martial arts, looked like Mulan, and could sing.
yeah, yeah.
That's a lot.
Very specific.
So it did take them a long time, but I think they nailed it. I did like the cast.
Oh yeah, the casting was really good, I think. Yeah, and with quarantine and everything.
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out in March.
Yep. That never happened. But I guess I'm thinking about it, I'm a little conflicted because like I'm glad that they released it because we've been waiting for a long time.
Also, who knows when it'll be safe to go back to movie theaters?
Yeah.
I mean, I know movie theaters are open, but like again, safe is the key word
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think now seeing it, oh man, it would have been something to see it on the big screen.
Oh yeah, it would have been really cool to see in the big screen, and I think like you said earlier, it was meant to be on the big screen.
Yep.
Probably would have helped with a lot of the quiet dialogue
Yep.
issues too. So
Yeah.
the ending.
The ending when she's back in her little dome, not dome, well, donut town, I think.
Donut Town. There you go.
When she's back home.
There you go.
What were your thoughts, like in general? I guess.
I don't know. She's back home. Like, it didn't make that. I mean, like, her just coming home, that just part wasn't that big. Her apology to her father, though, was. And I think, again, they spilled out things a little bit more, just the implication of what she did. Because I know that she runs home and it's like that. But it's like, and she feel, in her Mulan's guilt, she's like, not just I ran away and I'm back and endangered myself. Like, I could have disgraced you, like, really big time. Like, I stole your armor, I stole your sword, I destroyed your sword, sword.
But you definitely get to see like the father's love for Mulan.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Nothing matters as long as you're back home. You're my.
But the sword, yeah, it goes back to. But then her commander comes back with some other Imperial guards and gives her a new sword.
Yeah, and then on the back of the sword it
says devotion to family.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing too. Earlier in the palace, still she goes, "Sorry, I have to go home." The emperor goes, "Okay, well, you know what? Devotion to family is a very important, value." And then they give her the sword, and then, he goes, "I hope you reconsider." And she's like, "Yeah," but then she sees on the back it says devotion to family, and I think that with that, I think she does ask, yeah, and then she does, pretty sure she does go back and serves in the island.
Pretty sure she.
Mm-hmm. But I do think the key for her was seeing the devotion to family, that acknowledgement.
Yeah. And then like just seeing her with her sister too, like back with her sister.
Oh yes. Yeah, it was cute. She's her sister. I've been matched. He's cute and he's handsome. He's a little shy and he's not afraid of but he's not afraid of spiders.
Yeah. I was really confused with the matchmaker's reaction in the end. Like, why was she so surprised? Was she like proven wrong, or was she?
I think I kind of feel like that may have been it. Is all like, well, I think 1, 2, yeah, that was a little weird. I admit. I think part of it is, yeah, I guess that she was proven wrong because she ends up being such a big person and she didn't match her well. I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought that was like a weird.
Oh yeah, and then the ending too, because he closes it out. Because at the beginning he's all like, "Yeah, she's a bamboo sprout or whatever," and then at the end he goes, "You see that? I saw that sprout grow into a stalk or whatever."
Oh.
He does say that. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
So it kind of comes full circle there too.
It does.
So.
It definitely does. And then the cry. Have you? I haven't like watched a lot of the credit, but like the animation in the credit is so beautiful.
I've not seen much of the credit. I usually have just stopped right around the credit.
That's fair. No one watches the credit. It's
unless it's a superhero movie.
That's true. Unless you're waiting for like the last part. But no, me as a film wannabe, I guess. I do sometimes watch the credit just to like see who all was there, see what I missed, and if I missed anything. But like the animation in the credits is so beautiful, like because it has like paintbrush strokes going through the stuff, and I thought that was really cool. I haven't watched all the credits obviously because no one does. Just overall, I really like the film. I know I've watched this with another friend, and I asked her like what she thought. And
what did they think?
I guess she didn't like it as much as we liked it. But she liked it a lot.
I think that's the thing. I think it's different from us watching it because obviously we're Chinese, and it's Chinese culture, and we grew up with Mulan, and but at the same time, I bet there's people that loved Mulan so much and were disappointed in this.
Yeah.
But
Casey,
Casey, was she one of those people?
yeah, she watched it and she's like, I didn't like it as much, or I didn't really like it.
I
And
think it helped. Like I said, I think it definitely helped for me seeing martial art, like the because again, a lot of those same actors have been in these epic martial art films. And I love those films. So it, like I said, it's kind of it's like a Disney version of one of those movies. So, like I said too, though, there's a lot of subtleties too that I remember the first time after seeing it, I was like, yeah, I liked it. Second time I watched it, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Like, there's a lot more details and subtleties that you don't pick up on that makes the movie.
yeah, for sure. The first time I watched it, I immediately fell in love with it. But then the second
You
time,
would though. I mean, you.
no, that wasn't me. But then the second time I watched it, I loved it even more.
Mhm.
Because I picked up on the show, all
Yeah.
the characters and
Yes.
everything.
One thing that I saw, because there's an article, I guess, about the review and everything, and I guess the person writing the review, I don't remember what the article was, but they said that they liked Gong Li's character, like the witch, so much that they almost wished the movie was about her, like almost Maleficent type thing. So
Yeah.
I was talking about it with my mom too, and that almost like we're like, yes, that needs to happen. That'd be so cool. Like when she was younger. And they would, and it would. The thing is, though, it'd be sad because you know what her fate is, though.
Yeah. Oh.
But it would be. I think it would have been really cool. I think they'd still need to do a spin-off of her younger, just seeing that. But then they need to end when she meets Bori Khan.
Yes. Yes. For
But
sure.
it is sad knowing that what her ultimate fate is. So
Yeah. I would love to see her backstory.
yeah, but
Interesting
yeah, kind of thinking along the Maleficent kind of line, then that'd be cool.
for sure. I mean, I feel like she wasn't even like bad in the first place. She just chose a wrong path, but she wasn't
Oh
like
yeah, absolutely. No, she wasn't. And I mean, she was. She was rejected from society. She had to leave her family. She had to leave, her home and everything. And everywhere she goes, people just call her a witch, even though
yeah,
she's a warrior and this really powerful person. So,
yeah,
and meeting Bori Khan promised her a place where she'd be accepted.
yeah. I would be very interested in seeing like a spin-off of her story.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was a cool idea. And especially after, watching it, I'd be like, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. I wouldn't like. I could care less if they did it or not, but like if they do, I'd be
Yeah.
all for it.
Mm-hmm.
Any last comments before we end it?
No, but I don't know. I did really like this. If you had to rate this on a scale to 1 to 10, where would you put this?
Well, my very first initial reaction would be like 10, but if I actually like thought about it, I'd probably feel like oh my gosh, this is so hard.
I'd say like an 8.5 or a
No,
9.
8.5 or 9. That's what I was going
Yeah.
to.
I mean, I do love the film, but I wouldn't say it's like I didn't love everything about the film.
For sure, for sure.
I do know that like in other live action, specifically like Beauty and the Beast, I remember leaving and go, oh my gosh, this is the best movie ever. I absolutely love this and I have to go back and see it again. This one was like, this is really good. I really like that. But I think I want to watch it again because I think I might like it better the second time. So
Yeah, I definitely think I can't really say that they did a good job making the live version one because it's not the same movie.
mm-hmm.
So I guess
It was still a very good film, and
yeah,
you can't compare it to the animated that much.
yeah, for sure.
Or the ballad, really. It's just own version of Mulan. So
For sure. I just like a little tip or advice for people who are going to go see Mulan. Don't expect anything. Like, don't expect a lot of the original movie to be in this movie because
yeah, go see it with an open mind.
yeah.
Or don't go see it. Stay home inside your house.
Yeah.
Watch it on Disney Plus with an open mind.
Yep. Well, I think that is all. Thank you so much for joining me with all of this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. This was really fun. I'm always down to talk about movies. So
Heck yeah. I think this is like my first movie review. This is my first movie review. I don't know what I'm saying. But and I always enjoy doing things with you, Lily.
of course, same with you.
I was gonna do a movie review just by myself, but I feel like that would be a little boring and random. I don't know. But yeah. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, just leave a thumbs up, commented, I don't know. Please leave any likes, comments, concerns down below. It's been a while since I've done an outro.
Thanks for watching.
Subscribe wherever I put the button. You know, this is going good. I can tell. Yeah, guys, stay safe, stay happy. I don't know. And until then, I hope to see you all in the funny papers.